Right, hello everybody. My name is Jerry Donlan. I'm known as Bards Aloud. I'm a storyteller and poet, and as you can guess, I'm from Ireland with my accent. And I've just completed 6 family-friendly stories, all based on stuff. So I'll tell you about the first one. It's called The Toad Queen. And that is based on a true story, because since about 2008, there's been a group of people called Toad Patrollers been going down to a little lane in southwest Ipswich between February and April with high-vis jackets on and torches, head torches, clipboards, and picking up toads from the road, taking them to their breeding grounds to stop them getting squashed. And my next story is called The Womist, W-O-M-I-S-T, a name I invented because it's a creature that is half mist and half beautiful woman. And she is the woodland flora creature. She comes around into September up to the middle of January, and she swoops around, she blows out this magic mist all over the woods, and then she grows ferns on her wrists and she'll fly around beating all that mist down into the ground. And that is to wake up the bluebells, all those bulbs and all this fauna on the roots of all these things. If you were lying in bed at 6 o'clock in the morning and someone chucked a mug of cold water over your face, you'd wake up in a hurry. You'd say it's time to get up to work. And this is what it is with all these bluebells and snowdrops and primroses. They feel all this moisture going down there onto there, and they, soon after you see those beautiful green shoots coming. My third story is called The Tump, T-U-M-P. And it is a word, anyone can Google that up. And that is based on a hare nursery, or a tump nursery. It's where hares teach younger hares, leverets, and young rabbits how to tump. Because they devised that system as a warning system many years ago. And the reason it's called tump is because a young leveret, they'd all been trying to find something because there was new predators. There was wolves around those days. These hares were not native to Britain. They were brought in by the Romans, you see. And of course, they'd never seen a wolf. And the wolves in Britain had never seen a hare because they had never been. So there was a standoff for many years until the wolf discovered, yes, we can eat those creatures. So of course, the hare population began to go down. And the adult hares wanted some warning, how there would be none left. But anyway, they tried everything. And they had a big meeting to say, look, if we don't find some way soon, and this little leveret, a female leveret called a Jill, the females are called the Jill or the doe. And she says, I know a way. And this is, you're just a mere Jill. Oh, well, you know, you're a leveret, we're adults. Anyway, she says, we will use the tump, the T-U-M-P. And the reason it's called T-U-M-P is because she said, we are all hares, so we all got hair lip and we can't pronounce our H's. But that's the one about, there is a tump over at Ipswich in Ravenswood. You can go there and see it. And they devised all those hills. The tump means hills, small hills. So the hares get together and they teach them how to tump. So that when they grow up, they can give the warning signal that goes all over to everybody else. And that's the third story, isn't it? Now the fourth one is based in Woodbridge. It's called the Deben River Sprite. And that's a beautiful sprite that taught the starlings how to do murmurations with her magic flute. And she's still around. You can still hear her music up at Kyson Point. And if you go down there this time of the year, any time of the year just before sunset, you may see those starlings coming. I've seen them. There's this beautiful murmuration, and there's not thousands, or maybe 200 or 300, but they are there because they are listening to the flute, the magic flute of the Deben River Sprite. Another story is based over at Dunwich. But the 13th century, I think, when the great storms started to erode the coast, it was about 6 more miles out to sea in those days. And this is about 7 men from 7 different parts of East Anglia arrived at an inn in Dunwich one night. They had never met each other before. They had not known about each other before. And as they're drinking strong ale, as you would in those days, as you would now, they discovered each other. They had one thing in common. They all wanted to be pirates. And that's all very well. But none of them had a peg leg. None of them had a parrot. None of them could say "arr." But they wanted to be pirates. So they went, they stole a little boat, and they paddled out into the sea. There was a big harbour there in those days. It was one of the biggest harbours in Britain at the time. And they found themselves on a ship. And after 7 days, they were out in the middle of oceans. They didn't know what the ocean. None of them could even steer the ship. They knew nothing about putting the masts up, taking them down, but why? Some flew. Things were going well for them. And eventually, they decided we must be at the 7 seas now. But they didn't know. The guy with the compass couldn't read a compass. The guy with the map couldn't read a map. So anyway, had to take control. We've got to take control. We need to elect a captain, they said. But of course no one could agree. There was only one vote for everyone to vote for themselves. So they ended up having 7 captains. So they went from captain 1 to captain 7. And captain 6 said, right, one way to find out where we are. 3 of you, 2 on the mast, 1 top deck, rest of us spread out, and we come back 10 minutes, and you tell us what you saw. So the old captain came back together again. Captain 6 said, right, those you in the mast, what did you see? And the 2, I saw a sea, I saw a sea. And you on the port side, I saw a sea. Everyone saw a sea. Well, I conclude 7 of us saw a sea. That means there are 7 seas. We're on the 7 seas. Now it's time to go pilot. Eventually, they become invisible. And that's going to be another story for another time. And the final batch of 6 is, because these are going in an anthology which will be on your bookshelves in a couple of months' time, and it's about the flight of the stag beetles. And in Ipswich we got the biggest stag beetle pile on the planet at the moment. I thought it was Britain, but no, if you Google it up, it's in the world. And no, there is no stag beetle pile as big. And it was back in 2023 that a group of Ipswich Wildlife Group, Greenways, Ipswich Borough Council, Babel got together and put all these tree trunks in the shape of a stag beetle just over near Springwood and Ipswich. And I'm awarding them that work locally. So I get to see this very often. It's about 16 metres long by about 8-9 metres wide. And it can be seen from up in the sky. People are getting drone shots now, and you can look down this beautiful stag beetle. So I thought to myself, hold on, Suffolk is a hotbed for stag beetles. Wonderful place, especially around Ipswich. We've got so many. But further north, they hardly see them anymore. They don't seem to go far. They don't go near Scotland now. And I thought the reason for that was the Romans, you see. When the Romans invaded Britain, they were making great strides, going up north, right across from Newcastle, on the east, right across to the west. But there was one thing deterring them from going any further. The Romans called it the Red Hedges. But the Red Hedges were the Picts or the Celts from Scotland. They were coming down and they were nicking things off the Romans. I mean, you can't let them away with that. So they devised, we will build a wall. And they build a wall now known as Hadrian's Wall. Just keep the Picts and the Celts out from their invasion, but they built it so high, it deterred the stag beetle from making their journey south on their migration. So they had to come up with a device. So they built themselves a platform, and they gathered all herbs from all over. There was 100 logs, herbs from everywhere. So they had the power of 3,333 stag beetles and time travel, you see, because that's they get the time travel from the herbs. And they got across that wall. And the north wind brought them down south, and it brought them down east, until eventually the stag beetles got exhausted. They all fell to the ground, and you can see the remnants of their platform over around Springwood and Ipswich. And that's the Friday of the Stag Meet. Well, it's lovely, so you meet, like I say, you can all have those stories in a few months' time. And I hope you enjoy them. And if you ever want a storyteller to tell them live and full, yes, just get in touch. Thank you, Bart.